y'all, it's Krystal from Adventuring with Krystal. Today I want to talk about something that is almost always present on my mind as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as someone who talks to people day in and day out about their travel plans and their lives and all the things that they're trying to accomplish, and that is balance. Balance is something that almost everyone is trying to get, and yet I'm guessing that most of us feel like we are missing the mark. But I really wanted to talk about my personal take on balance and how actually we're all doing a really amazing job. I feel that when I have conversations about balance, or I read things about it, or I hear things about it, it's almost always that it is presented as a state of being. I'm in balance. And I always think of Lady Justice holding everything perfectly balanced while she's also doing tree pose and everything is totally smooth and she's got it all. But I don't think that balance is a state of being. I think that balance is a state of action. I think balance is more of a juggling act. And maybe that's not even right either. But it's something that we have to do day in and day out. It's not this pinnacle that we get there and we stay there. It is really sometimes a second by second choice that we make if we're going to be in balance or not. And the way that I think about it is that everything needs 100% every day. I need to give 100% to my business every day. I need to give 100% to my kids every day. I need to give 100% to my husband every day. But 100% is not always the same size. So 100% of my business today may mean 3 hours, but 100% to my business tomorrow may mean 7 hours. And if that's true, then the balance is that I'm going to have to make some decisions about how do I spend the rest of my time when I have already used that 7 hours. And it really is a practice that we can get into, that we can say, I gave 100% to everything in my life that needed it today. But that didn't mean that I gave 7,000%. It means that I was able to find that perfect ratio. One way that we can start by that is prioritizing mindfully, truly thinking through how long will tasks take and how much time do people need. I am horrible at choosing how long tasks will take me. I think, okay, I'm just going to jump on and do this one thing, and either I get sidetracked so that task takes longer, or it just ends up taking longer than I thought that it would. So I always like to give myself a little extra time for my tasks to make sure that I am getting them completed and make sure that I give plenty of time in the places that need it. And also, what is most important today? If I have an itinerary that is for 2025 and I have one that is for April, then I'm probably going to try to work on that April one first and get that one done. So I know kind of when things are. Maybe the 2025 one is a more sexy itinerary that I'd much rather work on. And though that doesn't mean that this one doesn't deserve 100% of the time that it needs also. And the same is true with the time that we spend with our spouses and our kids, working in our yard, cleaning our houses, whatever it is, making sure that we're really prioritizing mindfully that time. Another thing that we can do is learn to embrace flexibility. If you are like me, you know that things can change in an instant. 1 second, a kid was totally happy and humming along, and the next they're having a panic attack and melting down, or maybe I'm having a panic attack and melting down, or I'm working on what I thought was going to be a really quick and easy itinerary that turned out to be a complete monster and ends up taking 11 hours instead of the 1 hour that I thought, and now I'm really going to have to bend and twist to get everything else in. And that's how life is. And it doesn't really behoove me to be angry about that and to complain about all the time that I have to spend on this itinerary and how things went wrong and yada yada, because it's not really going to be helpful to me if that happens. But what is helpful is to keep in my mind that flexibility is key, that these things happen, that it's happening in my world, but it's not happening to me as a person. Nothing is conspiring against me to make me unhappy or make me miss deadlines. So keeping those things in mind will really help me to stay in balance. Another is to set boundaries. I know this is so hard because we are in a society that wants us to be on call 24/7. We have these phones and they are always with us. They have the internet, they have email, they have text, they have calls, and they also have this wonderful thing that is do not disturb. And I'm going to encourage you to use that. We have a no phones at the dinner table rule, and at 8:30 my phone goes to sleep, and I do not look at text or email or even take phone calls after that unless I know that it's somebody that is having an emergency. If my family calls, I'm definitely going to answer the phone, or a friend that I want to talk to. But if it's work, probably not. Putting those boundaries in place makes sure that I get to do my bedtime routine, that I get to take the time to lay with my daughter if she asks me to. If I'm continuing to work through that time, then that's going to put me way behind. Then the next day I'm going to be tired, and that's just going to snowball into this not being my best self, which will put me out of balance. Another tip that I have is to incorporate joy. Whenever possible, look for the silver lining. I know that it's not always easy, and I'm not talking about false positivity, but there is something good in every moment that is happening. I have tried recording this already a few times today, and things just keep getting interrupted, or I keep saying things that I don't want to say and having to start over. And I'm thinking, that's a good learning experience. I'm new to YouTubing. I'm new to being a talking head. And so it's okay if I'm making mistakes and not doing it exactly the way that I want to. But I know that I'm getting better today than I was yesterday, and that brings me a lot of joy. Make it a habit to not just seek it out, but to point it out. Say to yourself, I'm in a moment of joy right now, or keep a joy journal, or point it out to someone else that you're with. What brought you joy that day? It is going to be such a strong practice, not just for you, but for those around you, to see you modeling that and to see you balancing the joy with the rest of the pooey stuff that happens during the day. And finally, I'd like to really say that reflection is an important part of balance. And reflection is not just stopping and crawling under a rock and watching Netflix for 4 hours and saying, okay, I'm rested now. Reflection is actually taking the time to look at, was I balanced? Have I been giving 100% to the things that need 100%? Have I not been? Why? Why not? What can I adjust to make sure that I'm doing that in the future? That's true reflection, and it is not easy to do because our brains don't really want to do that. When we're finished with something, we want to be finished with it. We don't want to pick it apart unless you are superhuman and you don't have that. And that is a superpower that I want you to teach me, because my brain does not want to reflect. But every time I force myself to pull out my pen, to write down what I did this week or this month or this year, to really think about it and reflect, I'm always shocked and amazed at how much I've accomplished, how much I've learned, how many connections I've made and relationships I've strengthened. And I think that is the most important part of taking that pause and being active, because that puts me in a state of balance when I realize I'm not so far behind. I have accomplished so many things. I can take some time to rest and be in balance, because otherwise my brain's always telling me that I'm behind and I need to catch up. And that throws me out of balance, because then I'm trying to juggle too many balls at the same time. Another way of really finding rest and relaxation and time for reflection is travel. And I would be remiss if I did not remind you that I am here to be your travel partner. So book a discovery call for me. The link is down below. You can click it. It's 15 minutes. We can chat about what your travel goals are, or we can just chat about this video and make a connection about how we're trying to keep ourselves in balance. Whatever it is, I would love to be a part of that and connect with you around your life and your travel and all the things that you have going on.